and then breaking down. I always like give your client a name. Where would he or she shop? What clothes would they wear? What wines would they drink?
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining tonight. We are going to have Akeshi come on tonight and chat with us. I love Akeshi. She was at our Bridal Masterclass Experience event in Chicago almost a year ago, which is kind of weird. Very crazy that it was a year ago. And it was very weird because we had the event, things were happening, obviously, with COVID in Italy. And then, like, literally the day that it finished, like, the world just basically shut down. So it was like right before everything happened. So that was the last time I actually saw Akeshi. But Akeshi actually joined us for one of our lives before. It was last in the fall. Here she is. Gonna add her in. Let's see if that works. Ah! How
How
are
are
you?
you? I haven't done a live in so long. I almost forgot how to do it. I'm like, what do I? Okay, let me go to do not disturb for 1 second. Doesn't ring.
I love it.
I
Oh my
was
God.
like, what do I do?
I
How
know.
are you here officially?
How's it going? I haven't seen you in forever, but
I know. It's going. It's winter, pandemic, everything, but we're here, so it's all good.
we are. And so now, so tonight we're going to talk about luxury weddings. And Desiree just joined. Hey, Desiree. We're going to talk about luxury weddings. And I think one of the things that if anyone has ever gone to Akeshi's Instagram page or her site, I mean, it's like, it's luxury like all over. And so I think it's one, it's like luxury every oozing out of like all the corners. And so I think one of the things that a lot of people are wondering right now, it really has to do with what's going on with like the luxury market, because oftentimes, you know, luxury is also kind of associated with like the larger scale weddings, which are not happening right now. And
Yeah.
so we're going to talk about that for sure. But one thing, so when Akeshi and I were like chatting back and forth about like what we were going to talk about tonight, and I was like, what do you want to talk about? Because literally Akeshi can talk about anything. Like this can like, you could give her
Any-
the most like far, corner topic, and she'd be like, yeah, anyways, da, 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 da. Like she'd have like 50 things to say about that and how she listened to a podcast and read like 50 articles. And this is her thoughts on that. Like she would totally do that. So
I
yeah.
try. I try.
So we're gonna cover like lots of things tonight, not just that, because I think part of what I love, I mean, there's a lot of things I love about you, but there's one of the things that I love is that, when it comes to especially luxury, it's not just like it's this one thing that's like stamped and it's the same at every single wedding. You
Right.
know, there are so many different facets that you draw from. I think that really kind of bring this unique aspect to what you do. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize. Like luxury it's not just more, it's not just more expensive, it's not just bigger. There's all of
Right.
these other components that go with that. So we're going to talk about all of that too. But that's just me because I just love it. She's awesome.
Weather, the snow, I'm just like struggling today. So I'm like on my third cup of something. But I'm ready.
There's
I'm
like
ready.
if you blow on it, people think it's like coffee, and it could be, who knows? I'm just saying,
Coughing this one.
it's coffee. It's clear
This is
coffee,
actually
but it's coffee.
5 o'clock. If I had wine right now, I would pass out. But I have to work out. So I'm like, I'm going to have my coffee, do this, and get on my bike. Because that's like my commitment to myself. Anyway.
I love
So,
that.
all right. Let's do
So
it.
okay, wait, first, I just want to comment on the fact that okay, if you follow Keshi's stories, this woman is like a workout madhouse. I mean, I don't like she's like on it. Like you do like Peloton
Me?
or you bike like every day. You're like, yeah.
I'm so worried. Don't, mm-mm. I'm trying, but my goal and my promise to myself is to hop on my bike for an hour for 5 days a week. So I'm challenging myself to do a 5 day streak because I mean, there are 24 hours in a day, and like my commitment is to move once a day and to gift myself an hour of sweat so we can de-stress because while we're trying to maneuver everything that's going on, we need to stay sane. So
I
that's
think
how I
that
stay sane.
I think it's great advice. I go for walks, and if I didn't go for my walks, I think I would like I don't know, like probably like I wouldn't kill somebody, but you know, maybe like just like your head
You
is gonna explode.
No, we need to move. I'm being honest. Like the wine, you can only drink so much, right? And there's only so much Netflix you can do. But like when you move, I do, like I would say, like do a dance party every day, play whatever makes you dance and just let go or do some sort of movement.
I
And it's not even exhausting, and Lord knows pandemic weight needs to come off, but it's just for your soul, your mind, and to feed, and then you're in a better position to do what you do. I can't create when I'm stressed or my mind is, or I'm tired. So by freeing my mental side, it allows me to get creative and produce what I get to do. So I don't know, it's a work in progress, trust me.
I love it though. I love it. And I think that's great. Great way to think of it. Like it's a gift. It's like a gift you give yourself. Because I think sometimes we just like, well, do I really need to do that? And that seems selfish. And like, I have all these other things I have to do that seem more important. But like gifting something to yourself is needed, like for sure.
It's a gift to yourself. We gift our time and everything to our clients, so we got to do something for ourselves, right?
I love it. That's good. Good, good, good. So now tell us a little bit about, I mean, obviously in the last year, things have been different. So what are some of the ways that like, because your clients are primarily luxury wedding clients. So how are they changing? What's for the ones that aren't totally rescheduled? How have they changed to keep some of the luxury elements, but obviously not have like a 5 million person event?
Yeah. The only thing that's really changed, to be honest, is the expectation to produce and do what we do hasn't changed. The need for details and a very curated experience hasn't changed. The budget hasn't changed. So, but there's a willingness after a conversation, obviously about safety and all that stuff, to cut down. But that's the only thing on my end that's been cut down. Everything is still the same. I'm actually finding that, because I always say we have clients in tiers. We never have one type of client. We have a second tier clients. They also want that same experience, even if it's for smaller groups. So I feel like what I'm getting, there's people that want details, they want the pretty, even if it's intimate. And that is luxury, like you said. I think there's a misconception of what luxury is. We had this really interesting chat on Clubhouse this week or Monday about luxury and when to use it, when not to use it. And in a conversation with someone else, we're talking about how luxury is it's personal, right? And it's really about like what I might consider luxurious might be different from that person. Like, so let's say there's a wedding that someone spends an insane amount of money on, like dinner, because that is what they feel is essential and they would pay anything. That experience is luxurious, right? Or someone might splurge on crazy amount on stationery, right? And may not care about a 8-course meal, may be fine with a 3-course meal. Still lovely, right? So it's really kind of shifting gears from what we think luxury should be or how much they should be spending to really what they appreciate, what they want, and then we add our little spice and our spin to it and make it better, right? Because all they have is an idea. We're inspired by our clients. Some people need more guidance than others. Like some clients who know their color, some don't. So it's really just tapping more into the personalization for me that makes the events more luxurious. Like it's about them and I don't know their friends. I don't know what they know about each other. So in order to get that information, we get deep with the clients, pull as much as we can by getting to know them, asking the right questions, and then putting a great team together and curating the right experience. So it's really down to me, personalization and creating an environment that is one step or two steps or 10 steps above the usual, right?
Yeah.
No matter the space. So I can do a luxurious backyard wedding for in the back of their home, right? We can take a very raw space and create something. I give an example of like the proposal. We did a proposal in California in November. It was for 4 people, and it was in the middle of nowhere. So ideally, if you're looking for a luxury venue, that was not it. Like it was just with I'll send you, it's somewhere I posted on Instagram, but it was just land with no water, no power, nothing. So we had to bring in those elements, but it was tailored really to them. And then of course you add whatever you do. Like everyone has their special sauce or superpower, and then you add that in it because clearly they hired you because of that superpower that you have. And then we throw that in. So right now I think that well, everybody should be really focused deeply on creating a more personalized experience and curating. It's really going to take time getting to know them versus like I call it a copy and paste. We don't want to do that because that's boring and that is not luxurious. The paying for that service and attention to detail is like, where I start. I don't know if that answered that question or I was just rambling. Okay.
No, totally, totally. And in the meantime, Chana joined, and Chana says that you ladies are looking flawless. Which
Who was looking?
listen, Akeshi always breaks like this. I swear that in her spare time, because we all know that she does she somehow commandeers like extra hours in the day. I swear she does. That she models on the side because
Oh my gosh, you're officially my hype woman. Hired. What? For some reason, I'm
yes, love it.
comments, and I can't see who's on.
So Travel just said details, which is so true. Michael and Lawrence from Black Day Weddings joined. Hey guys. And then quite a few other people had joined. So I think she is beautiful. Totally. See, and this is the thing, right? I think it's one of those aspects of understanding how luxury really kind of comes into all of those different elements that maybe sometimes it's easy to just like you said, like copy paste and to be like, okay, so everything has to be expensive and everything has to be big and everything has to, but one, that's not always how luxury is, and luxury weddings per se. And two, now for sure, it really is about that personalization times a million. Yeah. So it's like, what do you want to spend that money on? And I think it's something that a lot of people didn't talk about before, that they kind of did on, they did that anyways, but now you see it so much more because they have to.
I think like in terms of the environment, like that's where we come in as experts. Now, once I know what's important to them, I can say, based on this space, I think we should do this here. We can do beautiful lounge seating here. We can do lights to get more glow at night. We can do a really cool walkway. That's where we come in as designers or planners or whatever you do. Then you tend to add your spin. But first, the first step is to understand who you're working with and what's personal to them and what's important. Of course, every bit should have some kind of detail, right? Whether it's stationary, no matter how plain. But you can still style. Like if someone doesn't care about, I don't want to spend a lot of money on stationery, I just want a black and white invitation and black and white menu, no problem. But I'm going to think about all the different components that can elevate that black and white simple menu. So I may throw in like, okay, I think we should do charge a place, or I think this would be cool. I think we should do, this particular linen and this particular flatware, so we can elevate that look. But they get what they want, because you never want your clients to feel like you're forcing your ideas on them. Because if it doesn't matter to them, just because you want a pretty event, then it's pointless. We're kind of missing the point. So it's really about them, and then we add our extra, because they don't even know. Like when I say, oh, I think we should do some details here, they're like, okay, that sounds pretty. But event day, they're like, oh my God, now I get what you were saying, because they don't really understand it, right? So that's where we have to hold firm and say, let me do what I do. I got you. Let me get to work. Here's what's going to cost. And that's what I appreciate about our clients is they're willing to meet me and then leave me to do what I do without any, pushback. I mean, knock on wood, where's wood? So far, no pushback, right? I don't get a lot of pushback in terms of my ideas because they trust it, but they trust it only because you took time to learn about them and what matters to them.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's key, instead of just, like we were saying, making it bigger or more expensive, or,
Yeah.
choosing the elements that, because I mean, weddings are expensive. It doesn't matter if you are Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or, me, and you have no money and you're like,
Another
I,
conception, right? People think that people that spend money don't care about how much they spend. It's so not true. It's actually the opposite. Every dollar has been earned. Like they've worked hard for that money, anybody. So that some clients don't mind spending the money as long as it makes sense to them and there's some sort of accountability. Once I do the explaining, they're like, okay, sure. But you can't, people think that, certain clients just give them a bill and they're like, sure. No, they want an explanation about every single thing. As long as you can explain it to them where it's not overwhelming in a way they can understand, then you get a check like, okay, just because they have it doesn't mean they want to just throw it away.
right.
You know, think that, oh, once I get someone that makes a lot of money, I'm just gonna, this is my next style shoot, so that's what people like treat it as a next style shoot, but it's not. They'll tell you a hard no. It doesn't make sense to them. So like, no, don't want it. And then we're like, oh.
And don't think of it like your money in many ways. Like, if you were them and this was important to you, would you spend money on this part or that part, or
Right,
both, or none
right.
of it? Because those are things too that, I mean, it's not like, if you have a lot of money, it's not like, this is the first person that's trying to take advantage of you and just like jack the bill.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to see that and smell that, and
Oh yeah.
not you at that point, because you don't have their best interest at heart. And I think it goes back to like, you know, do we care about our clients, or do we just want to make money and kind of like feed our egos that like, look, I made a really pretty thing, I'm so
Yep.
cool. That's not what it's about. And if you try to portray that to your clients, they're going to see through that, and the last thing they're going to do is ever refer you to anyone, and
Mm.
they're not going to want to work with you.
Yeah, it's deeply personal. This is not corporate. Even corporate, you got to explain that too. But like I said, you can't be your next style shoot. If this is your way to all the ideas in your head that you've been dreaming of doing to this one client, they're gonna feel like they're being used and you truly don't care. Like they would literally break that down quickly. So we need to first care, like you said, step one, care enough about the person that has chosen you or the people that have chosen you. Get to know them in terms of what matters to them, what they do not like, things they do like, and then we go back to work. So I always say, like, we have a discovery phase. First, we pull all the information, and then I'm like, give us some time. Let's get to work. And then we come back and we present. So there's a process there, whether it's a big or small wedding. Anything could be luxurious. I could be in a barn. I can put together a barn wedding. It'll be a beautiful barn. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
as if they want a barn, if a client wants a barn, they want a barn, but then I'm going to bring in my element. So the other side of it is our skill set, right? um, One of the things I've been encouraging people to do is to spend more time in enhancing your skill set, because you never know when you meet a certain client. So I recently had a client that is particular about wine, like wine that I was like, what? So when I went to the store, like I was chatting with the owner, and we're talking about the different wines, and like, so in my mind, I'm like, we need to spend more time understanding. First and foremost, this is not I would never ever pay what people pay for wine. Like what? However, I need to understand. I just need to know about it, right? So that when I'm chatting with these clients, they know that I at least understand. I don't have a private jet. I don't have any of these things, but they need to know that we understand and we can deliver. Did we freeze?
Oh,
I
you,
don't have I can't tell. Did I freeze or you froze? I
I
know.
think you froze for a second, and maybe I froze to you.
Yeah, but did you catch my points? I was saying that in order to even deliver and create, especially with smaller events, because sometimes you can get away with the bigger ones, with the more intimate, they'll catch everything. So you have to be able to understand like their life, a luxury lifestyle. You don't have to live it, but you have to understand it. Like what,
Right.
what restaurants would they even dine if you had a rehearsal dinner? My first thought, if you asked me, being the Nigerian girl that I am, I'm like somewhere Asian. Like I'm a Thai girl, so I would probably host my like legit, right? But that would be where what I like to eat, but it's not about me. They say they like certain kinds of steak. You know what I mean? I'll be there for the tasting because yes, but that's not my lifestyle. But I have to understand. So when you're referring and when you're bringing your team together, it is in line with the client's taste, style, and expectation. Because when you do certain kinds of events, the expectation is high. The
Yeah.
last one is your client to feel like, oh, did I hire the wrong person? Because he or she doesn't seem to really understand me,
Yeah.
right? Like you're not understanding what I love. Like if they say, okay, we want to go dress shopping, where should we go? You have to know where that person, not everybody, that particular person that just asked would want to go shopping at. Like the types of dresses they want. So it's really, like I said, very tailored to each person. It's never the same, right? And the ability to create beauty or after beauty that has your staple, but it's personalized to the person is a challenge.
But
That
because patient, I think that's, I mean, like exactly what you were saying. Um, Ivy League Travel just said understanding your client is key, and that's it. It's really understanding, because if you don't know, and this is like back to basics of like knowing who your ideal client is, if you don't know where they would eat, you don't know the things that are important to them, you
yeah,
haven't, you don't know the difference between if wine is stored in, steel drums or aged oak, or, whether it's come from, Napa versus France. Like, you don't know that. And so if you don't know that, how can you then be able to advise for
yeah,
that event? And then going forward, being able, how can they trust you? Because
because you don't know them. So in like I always tell people, like once you give a contract and collect money from someone, you're saying I know everything about what you just proposed to me. And a lot of people don't.
right. Yeah.
Even down to the simplest thing, like if there is an 8-course meal versus a 3-course meal. Flatware requirements, like getting that rental list together in collaboration with the caterer. Some people don't know that you got to increase the numbers, right?
Yeah.
If the dinner and there's wine pairing, if you're just doing your standard water, white wine, red wine, that's not enough because they have to switch glasses, right? So these are things that we can learn on our own in order to, again, you don't have to go to France, you don't have to go to Napa, but there are a lot of courses online. There's a lot of things that you can self-educate, or even just like talk to people. You can do, like you're doing a live, bring someone in that's a chef that's experienced, that's traveled around the world. But we need to spend more time educating ourselves on this lifestyle that we want to, of the people that we want to work for. Right. You mentioned someone here. I can't see, unfortunately. I'm like stuck at whatever's here, so I can't see who's chatting. But you said about travel, right? So if your client, right, is at that stage where they need to book the honeymoon and they're saying, can you give us some recommendations of different resorts that we can go to? Naturally, I would run to Mexico because that's just where, right? But I have to understand that my clients would not stay So, and based on conversation too, places they've traveled, like these conversations I have are not to be nosy. It's really to like figure out your taste style. So I'm kind of understanding where they would typically travel to. So I would even know what travel agent to work with that particular person. If they want private travel or, commercial, like you have to understand the person you're speaking with, but you have to understand where these sources are. It's not the client's job to give you the resources, right? Or call this travel agent or call this rental company. Like we should have those resources. So what we need to spend this kind of downtime, I guess, doing is learning more, educating ourselves more, so we can confidently show up and charge more
Yeah. Yeah.
for
And
services.
because you can't, again, thinking like a luxury wedding is just bigger, more expensive,
Big
and people who just give money away. Like that's not how it works. That's not what a luxury wedding actually is. Like you have to be prepared to serve that client.
for
Like
sure.
period,
And
the end.
yeah,
So
there's so much more, to be honest. And it's not something you can say, well, let me get back to you. Let me go study what you really, because they're gonna ask you things on the spot.
yeah.
And things where you're like in a conversation and you can't say, I can't really think of restaurants right now, but let me go do research and get back to you. So we have to, in order to confidently, well, charge what you're worth and do that job, is to be well educated in what your client want, but understanding who your ideal client is, and then breaking down. I always say, I give your client a name. Where would he or she shop? What clothes would they wear? What wines would they drink? What types of meals would they like? Right? I might have a client that loves Italian food. So as I'm learning that, I'm going to be on the side getting myself more comfortable with like the meals, right? Because it's so broad. Everyone has different interests. So we have to go back and be able to quickly get information or have information ready on the spot, so they feel like, you know what? This person is the right choice. And when they feel comfortable and trust you, they're going to start to refer, even while you're working with them, not at the end where they have to see your final, but during, because they're so comfortable with you, and they understand that we may not live that lifestyle. You understand that, but they're comfortable because we're knowledgeable about what they would like, and they're like, you should call this person the best. So when they give you a shout out on social media, it's not because there are many other things, right? But they feel so comfortable with the fact that you're constantly able to deliver from the beginning to the very end.
Yes, absolutely. Anna Rose Events says luxury is the customer service that's provided to the client, not the client's pockets. And that's true. It absolutely is. Like it's really about understanding who they are, what they like, where they shop, where they eat, what their life is like. You don't have to live it.
Yeah.
You need to know it. Like you have to know, like which Italian restaurants would they
Yeah.
go to? And not just assuming, oh, this is the most expensive, that must be where they go. That's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things like that you now, like you said, now is the time to brush up on that, like educate yourself, take that time. We will never again, probably in our lifetimes, have this type of pause on the world.
Pray
Like,
not.
but why not use it? I mean, how many times since you started your business have you been like, man, if I could just pause just for like, a minute, a day, a year, a month, whatever it is, like, and just like I feel so behind. I feel like I need to do all these other things and figure it out. Like that's what this time is for right now. So if you're
Yeah.
not doing it for
I,
that, you are putting yourself even further behind everyone else who is doing that.
so, there are tons of courses. I've always said, I say, look at your day and map out how many hours you gave to Shonda Rhimes. And I'm sure everybody here has watched Bridgerton 5 times, which is totally fine. However, think about the hours in your day where you spend being unproductive towards your business, and how much time you're spending each day getting more knowledgeable in your business. The comparison is, if we're being honest, right? Because it's so easy to just blend into the couch. But I think that, you know, I always say take 30 minutes or an hour to educate yourself. So when you wake up in the morning, do learn something new, that leave your home smarter than when you woke up. And it could be a quick online YouTube. But I mean, there's a ton of stuff. Even a lot of these universities have a lot of courses. You know, can you take an online course? Like, can you take a culinary course? Because we're dealing with food all the time. If you don't know, then you need to go learn it. And when you do learn it, add layers to it, continue to get better, because like I've just been researching, like I signed up for all these courses, even on customer service. Like there's just so many things that we could be learning in addition to the how to, of course, the lead. There's so many layers, right? But even for designers, just you say you want to do luxury and big events, well, you need to learn skills, right? To
Ah,
design impressive and over the top arrangements. And when did we really ever have the time to do so? So I'm like, you have a dining table or some sort of a table, go buy flowers and practice and use that as a behind the scenes or whatever. That's another conversation for another day. But continuously working on your skills and being better will allow you to show up better for these high-end weddings that you want, because once you get in it, you can't pause. You're go go go. They're expecting that, like, they're just, you know, and when you mess up, believe you me, they will hand you your booty on a platter. Like I can, like, I wasn't sure if I can say the other word, but you're gonna go about your life like, huh, um am I sure I want to do this?
right.
I mean, when that email starts with respectfully, it means you screwed up somewhere. And you have to be ready to own it and process it. Yes, it's emotional. You could cry, whatever, but that's what it is. So when you drop the ball once, you're going to get checked. You are. And that's what comes with it. So there's the wonderful side of the beautiful events, but then there's the expectation. And unfortunately, right now we're in the pandemic mode where it feels almost like we're in lazy mode, right? So that we're not as quick, if being honest, like as we used to be, because we're so used to go 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 that now we're stuck at home, and so you just tend to get lazy naturally. So like it's a reminder that you can't drop the ball, and then your team can't drop the ball. So that's the other thing too. As you're educating and getting better, your team has to follow you. If you
Yeah.
don't, that's knowledgeable on your team, you can't follow them everywhere. If they're going to have to spread out and represent you and your brand, so they also have to be elevated in the experience too. So typically when I travel, I take my team with me, because then we can explore things and learn things together.
I love that. And that's important because if you have a team that you're working with, you need to make sure that they are an extension of you, not
Mm-hmm.
just someone to make sure that there's the correct number of glasses on the table. Like they need to understand and see if something's wrong, not just because they've seen it before, but because they know why. And if you
Wow.
haven't step to like help educate them, you're only hurting
Yeah.
yourself.
Hmm. I had a proud moment once. We were doing an event and I had to go do something. And literally, one person on my team was like, stop. Because catering was setting up and we had chandeliers here. And I'm very big on symmetry, and things have to be lined up or it'll drive me nuts. And they were like, stop, stop, stop. The table is not in line with the chandeliers. Akeshi is going to literally kill you guys. So they fixed it before I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. So like little things like that, or even if the fork, like, I mean, down to placement. I would tell you, and it's no one's fault because there isn't an actual school of how to do a place setting. But a lot of people in our industry don't know the proper way to set a table. So sometimes I'll see photos where the fork is to the right, or the dessert fork is in the wrong place. So down to even like basics, right? This information is online, but this is the reality of our business. If you don't know those basic things, your client is going to look at you like, hmm. Or let's say the wedding is over and now you want to submit it for to a high-end publication, and they look at your details and your flat replacement is wrong, or like these little things matter.
Yeah.
In at a certain level, these things start to matter. So we need to start learning from the ground up. I would say you crawl before you walk. So you got to crawl, learn the basics, then you start to walk, and then you run or sprint or fly. But there's a process, and we have to, sometimes when you find that you're lacking something, you have to go back to the basics and learn it. And then your team has to learn it too, because let's say they're photographing or your client is about to come into dinner. And imagine if a client is sitting at dinner and they dine all the time. Food is they're foodies, right? They're very big on cuisine and placement and the fine details, and they show up at their event and everything is placed wrong. That's, so for that particular person, that food matters and the details matters. Then they're embarrassed because now their friends are experiencing, their friends that actually dine out in these fancy places, they're like, oh, this is wrong. So it's a small detail, but it's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But these are the things we need to start to hone in on when we're delivering a certain level of service, because our ideal clients are expecting that. My goal
Yeah.
is to even shock you. Yes, you got all the money, but I'm gonna shock you. Like, that's my goal. It's like my challenge to myself. Like, I'm gonna just think of something crazy, and that, but I know what they're going to love. Not like what is that? Like, it's something I would matter to them. So again, it's not your next style shoe. This is about the client. But the goal is to challenge yourself to surprise them. They're
Right.
like, how they, I don't know how they do it, but they surprised me. I was wowed, right? If you can accomplish that, then you're good. Then you're doing something right. But the reality of high end is not about, someone said anyone that's 100K is a high end. I was like, I don't know if that really adds up, because I can have 100K for 10 people and I can have 100K for 1,000 people, and that doesn't make that wedding.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's really not about pushing or extending the budget. It's about being able to deliver something beyond the expected, beyond the ordinary, and beyond what they've seen before. Right? Because the truth is too, high end, let's say they attend their friends' daughters' weddings, they go to a lot of weddings, and you can imagine they see the same things, right? So they're not looking for what they saw at the last wedding. So it's about us being able to deliver something any kind of tiny detail that's new and fresh. And that's a challenge with
Right.
high end. It's like you have to keep thinking and, like, like really just trying to pull. And a lot of times the inspiration will come from the person, from the client, because you're like, I love this. Or you see their dress, or you see something that matters to them, and then you're inspired, and then you get ideas. But it's challenging, but it's doable if that's what you want.
Right. And I think that's it. And not everybody wants that type of quote unquote luxury wedding. Not everybody who is a wedding professional wants to deliver that type of service either. And that's okay. I think sometimes we get really kind of caught up on like, oh, well, to be good or to have a quality career, I must be, quote unquote, this luxury wedding professional, or I must charge X amount of money or make X amount of money or be featured in this publication or that. When in fact, you can have a very lucrative, happy career, provides a great life for yourself, your family, and maybe that's not who your target audience is, and that's okay.
Yeah. I know people that are very comfortable with whatever tier they choose to work in. One, it could be where your skill set meets, like you're comfortable there. And that's okay, because you have to be honest and authentic, and how long can you forge, can you copy from other people? If you have to deliver over and over again and deliver different, aesthetics and different looks, you're gonna run out of steam at some point. So
Right.
you have to meet your skill set where you are. That's why I say
Yeah.
walk, right? And then you're gonna get better. If your goal is to do big luxury high end, and then to work your way up and learn as you go, you can't skip certain things because it will catch up to you, right? Even knowing you have to first build relationships with people that fit that particular clientele. So you have to even know where and who to refer, right? But yeah, some people are very comfortable in that, say whatever you do, rock it, but whatever you choose, you gotta own it. And you have
Yeah,
to do.
absolutely.
You gotta,
Absolutely.
well, the goal is to wow people, whether it's a backyard for eight, like they need to walk in like, oh my God, this is such a pretty backyard, you
Right.
know? And then the little details that they like it's an experience. And it could be, when we say luxury, like we're talking about, like I can put, just a greenery as an accent in a plate or something, and it doesn't cost that much, but it's an experience. And like, oh wow. Or you have like embroidered like napkins with their initials or a small detail. They're like, okay, like damn, you guys are fancy. Like, so there are different things that you can pull in, and you have to be able to know when and where to place these things. It's all about an elevated experience and a personalized experience. If you can do those two things, and I think that you're on your way to creating a luxury experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Morris from Shades of Grey just joined. He said, hello, ladies. Be great at whatever level you are, and the accolades will come, which is totally true. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like it's one of those things that when you know your client, number one, you know what you can do within their budget to elevate that experience that's
Yeah,
going, honestly, that if, and I say this all the time, and I always want people to understand, I'm not trying, to tell people that they shouldn't be, chasing their dreams or whatever they like, whatever it is. But if this is not you, that's okay.
very much
Don't,
so.
you're gonna hurt, like you're seriously gonna be so frustrated with yourself and like cause yourself undue stress and like just it's good, you're gonna hate your life, right? And then you're gonna start to hate what you do and your clients, and they're going to be upset and no one's going to be happy. So
Well,
if
that's
you,
how it happens. But
yeah,
that's
no, like,
because you're
you can
constantly,
work for one.
yeah, yeah. And people don't understand, like your brain, when you stress or over, I don't know what you call it, like your brain is gonna shut down. It's just not gonna. So some people have it in them naturally, just like planning is not for everybody.
Right.
Like, running around and almost breaking your neck and getting on your knees if you have to, and doing, just really, like, we need, like, I don't know, a trophy, right? But that's what people love, that, and that's fine. But if you don't, then we have to own that, because it's going to show in how you deliver, how you serve your clients, and how you behave in general. That's why I say
Right.
money from someone, the moment they sign a contract, the moment that Zelle or cash or check clears, you got to deliver. You cannot complain ever, because you chose this. Like, this is what you chose. So I think if you choose this path, whether it's mid-level, high, over the top, then you have to be comfortable there, and you have to constantly work and like deliver. Like,
Right.
over delivery, under promise, over deliver. That's one of my favorite.
I love it. And you always do. And I think that's, again, for people who want to go into the luxury market, use this time, take that extra time and really research all the things we talked about. So the restaurants, the lifestyle, the play, like, hotels, resorts, even just locations, all of those things. Because if you don't intimately know those details, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a, like, number one, it's a problem when you're conversing with your clients. And number two, it's a problem when you're trying to figure out your marketing, your social media. What are you posting? Why are you posting it? What's your caption? Right? If you don't understand those things, you can't speak to that client. And so if they can't already, before they even meet you, understand that you know them, you get them, like there's 5 million other ones that, like, planners that they can go with instead, or florists or photographers. Like if they don't see that connection, they don't feel it right away, they can go on to the next.
I've always said, and this was pre-COVID, obviously now it's more challenging. It's like we got to get out of our homes, our offices, and go explore. Like if I know a client loves every Hilton property, or then I'm gonna know exactly like what I've heard them say, as an example, then I would know what specific hotels I would recommend because of their love for maybe certain kinds of properties, or if they love like Beaumont properties, for example, they're doing a destination wedding, and I would know specifically what type of resorts for destination. So the list is so long. Where do we start? Linen, fabric, food, wine, cocktails, travel, gifting, what goes in a gift bag for a certain kind of client, you know? And understanding like is it like if you're in Mex, like tequilas and recipes, like there's so much, but these are fun things that we can learn. So I've always encouraged you to go out, like, I'm like, you don't have to go order the ragu steak, but maybe you have a cup of coffee at the cafe at the Ritz, I don't know, but at least you're able to experience. And what if they said to you, how's their service, or what do you think about, and then you're like, well, I've never been there, I don't know. And then they're like, well, how can you help me if you don't know? Because we're supposed to know, So I can say I love that from the front desk, from the valet, they know you. Remember your name, the front desk, and I can give you my feedback because I've thrown myself in that experience as well. I'm like, don't go broke trying to eat all the fancy things and order everything, but have an idea of what it's like to be in these places, right? Because you don't. But you can ask for a tour. Can I see your presidential suite? Can I see? So when I'm talking about it to my clients, I'm so knowledgeable because I've literally walked those spaces, and I can like, oh, the rooms are amazing. The views are insane. The restaurant, the rooftop is amazing. Like you're gonna love it because I've been there. I didn't throw a party there for myself, but I, did my homework, and I'm more knowledgeable about these things. So there's so many things. So I say I'm a fan of like leisure and having fun, but in our profession, we have to take it more seriously as a profession. It's not a hobby, right? And like I said, once you take money from someone, you got to deliver. And there's so many layers, and they will surprise you with a question. There's no order in the questions. Like they'll ask you something that's like 10 months from now, so you can't say, well, let's wait till 10 months. You have to have an answer, right? It's literally like going to a doctor and paying for a service, and you ask about something that maybe you didn't come in for, and they're like, well, we're not there yet. Let's talk about this another time when I've done my research. It's just that simple. I don't have a better explanation for it, but that's how I see our work. So I take my job very seriously. I take my learning very seriously. I am still learning. I learn every day. I feel like I just uncover something new every day. So I'm a big like explorer of information, of things that are relevant to me. And I try to learn outside my industry, which is important too. We got to get out. We're in a lifestyle business. So it's not all about cakes, and learn about lifestyle things, blog about lifestyle things.
Speaking of lifestyle, Akeshi has candles, and what else you have? Like you have a whole entire lifestyle. Like, listen, like I said, we could basically talk to Akeshi forever and still not cover everything. The woman does everything. She has all of these things. Oh, Bridget Cinema says, hey, and MTS event planning. She says, what do you advise, or what would you advise to someone who's just starting out without any experience?
So first I would say learn the basics. And I think that I didn't do this, so I wish I did. If you want to get into an industry and nothing about it, get a mentor, get some sort of a coach. You don't want to do a trial and error, because those coaches have probably made those mistakes. The goal is for you not to make those mistakes. So invest in someone that can guide you to a comfortable place where now you can go out on your own.
Absolutely. And you do online classes, and you also coach,
So
right?
one of the things in my growth, I quickly learned that I hate doing one-on-one coaching. So I got rid of that. I used to spend time with people that are just new, and I'll take you from, I want to be a wedding planner, and we'll go through your branding name, your logos, your colors, your domains, and I love it, but it's a lot of time. So I got rid of that. But I do group coaching for wedding planners and wedding event pros. under the Kesh Experience. So the KeshEvents.com is my educational platform, and it's ongoing. There's so many things that we cover month to month, and we have, it's all on the website. I hate to like sell, but it's important. Some people need one-on-one, by the way. Some people can thrive in a group. But if I were completely starting from scratch, I would find as much education as possible. I would find someone that is in line with what I appreciate, what I like. So I think you need to vibe and find your person, and then be very honest about where you are. Because sometimes I'll coach, and then where you told me you were and then I'm on karma, girl. We got to go back, like
Yeah.
back. So be very honest with where you are, where you want to be, and the also be able to define yourself. Some people still can't describe what they do,
Right.
and wedding planner is not what I'm talking about. What experiences do you want to create for people? Because like luxury is not one box, it's so many things, right? Just like a stationery designer can deliver luxury in different things. So be clear on the experience that you want to be known for, right? Not just pretty flowers. And so people have a hard time narrowing that down. And then you get clear on who you want to serve, right? I don't know what phrase, I don't know where I heard it. Like, you're not pizza, you can't make everybody happy. So choose. You have to choose who you are. Well, first of all, get to know who you are, or decide who you are and the experiences you want to create. Then decide who you want to serve, because then all your marketing strategy, all your content will be tailored to that person that you now have decided. Because I think the notion in our industry is like, I'm a wedding planner, I cater to everyone. That's not possible, because there are people that I can't cater to at the moment that I maybe catered to when I first started. So like when I got clear on and confident first and foremost with my abilities, then I started to shine more, because I was more confident in what I could deliver. I was more confident in my skill set. Because when you're not comfortable in your skill set, you're not comfortable with the business. So it's almost like you're begging, like, here's my quote. Is that okay? No. When you know your stuff, then you quote confidently, and then you show up confidently. So anyway, for someone that just started, I would invest in a coach, and continue to learn. Just be a crazy learner. Like, you want to absorb. Like, I watch a lot of lifestyle shows to learn even about real estate. Like, I don't watch reality TV. I watch things that are educational. I watch travel shows. I watch things that and then I get inspiration, to be honest, sometimes. So I throw myself. So we got to have an even balance of like leisure, right? And then education. So I watch a lot of like things that allows me to know about more places that I probably wouldn't even find on social media. And then going to like those magazines that they would subscribe to. There's so much.
I love that. And those are such treasure troves of information
Yes.
that like it really like those like they literally review
Oh my.
resorts, review all of these things and why this is better than that one. Guess what? Even though they reviewed only one of those things, they're comparing it, so you can go online and look up the other one as well. You just got like so much more information.
I
Chanda says confidence equals growth, and that's it. Like but you need to know what you're confident in. So it's like to do that work, take that time. There was a question here, and I don't want to miss it, from Loving E Crystal E. She says, "Do you think switching from a corporate to a wedding planner can be an easy transition?"
Yes, if you care about weddings, because weddings, corporate is different. It's completely different, and I am more comfortable with weddings because I'm invested in that personal experience. Like, I would suck at like I can plan a corporate, but I think I would be so bored, because I'm like, okay, you have your ice and you have your bar, you have your ice sculpture, and you have your lights and you have your sound stage, but weddings are like once in a lifetime. So the pressure to deliver is so different. I mean, you care about both, but weddings are not for everybody. So first, if you're transitioning from corporate to weddings, one, First of all, maybe go volunteer at a wedding and see if you even care about it the next morning. Because
I love.
when you step and your feet are dead and you go back and do it again, then you know you're crazy enough to be a wedding planner. And two, be clear on the type of weddings you want to do, because a wedding could be anything. So be clear. Do you want to do, just like be clear on the type of weddings? But a coach would really help you narrow all this stuff down. Like I feel like people do things the hard way.
Yeah. No. Oh my goodness. I mean,
There's so much information.
no, it's one of the things like when I have clients, I don't really coach a lot of wedding planners. I have some, but whenever I have a coaching client, like I'm like, do you understand that when I started 20 years ago, there was no such thing. There like I literally read regular business books and I had to like learn and make lots of very costly mistakes
Yeah.
because there was nothing out there.
And
Whereas you have people who like they have a entire like checklist of plan, like they can like take you through. You go 0 to 60 like in 2 seconds. It's amazing.
your mentor or coach will give you years of information, years of mistakes.
Yeah,
Years, like I shared about where I planned my wedding. Oh Lord, that's another story for another day. But I did everything wrong, but it was my wedding, so I forgive myself. Uh, but I can't do that to someone else,
right,
because as long as they live, they will never forget that you screwed up their day. Like I
right.
have ability. A
Yeah,
corporate, you can make it up the next event, right? Or you could just mostly corporate, they just want booze and it's fine. But a wedding is so personal and it's an investment. Like they're taking, and you can tell the money spent is, it means something to them, even if it's from the parents or the parents handed. Like I have clients who say, my parents gave me a check for this amount, no more, and it still matters to them, right? So you can't screw that up.
right.
And that's why I said we got to crawl before you walk. Just because you have a website and a domain name and a beautiful logo doesn't mean you're ready. And you
Right.
should not a contract or money from anybody unless you're fully confident that you can deliver at least the necessities.
For that client. And
Yeah.
and that's important. There are two things because they're gonna kick us off soon. They do this to
Oh,
us.
it's an hour. Oh my
It's
God.
been an hour already. So number one, I have to tell everyone. So it always goes fast with Akeshi. Number two, you can continue the conversation with us tomorrow on Clubhouse. So we're gonna be on Clubhouse tomorrow. That's gonna be awesome. So 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. And you can find us. So my Clubhouse is at Garmers, which is my last name. And it's like farmers with a G. And then Akeshi is at Akeshi Akenzai. I always screw up your last name. That's not right.
I had to learn it, so it's okay. It's just my first and last name, Akeshi Akinshaya.
Akeshi. Did I
Yeah.
say it better? Is that
Fun
better?
but it's all good.
I, I'm horrible. So Maggie Shaw says hello, and she's so happy to be a part of this. And MTS Event Planning wants to know the average charge for a mentor or coach.
Everybody's different, but I think that for someone that's very knowledgeable, you're gonna find like an hourly from 400 to, some people coach 299, 250 an hour, to $500 an hour. It depends on who. Um, and honestly, the scope of services, if like for me now, if I took someone and we're like, you're from scratch, and I feel like our workload is different, and if I feel like someone has been doing it for a while, they just need to brush up on certain things. So it depends. I don't do those anymore, but a really good coach, typically, I mean, they're good ones that charge less, let me not say that, but it could range. And I think that it's not even the amount first, it's about finding the right person. Look at the brand, look at the messaging, look at how they deliver their stuff, and see if it's a good fit for you.
Right, exactly. Okay, so they're asking me to type things out. So I'm trying to do that right now because we all know that I have the world's fattest fingers. So like when I press one button, it's like 5 letters that show up.
You don't want me to type anything at all. Like when I text her, like, what did you just say? I'm like, just scratch everything that you
Right.
just, I type fast.
Okay, your last, so it's Akeshia
AK,
K.
oh, sorry, Akeshi, Akeshi.
Uh-huh.
Ainseye.
A.
My
Wait,
my name. I put my name, which is another thing that people should do. Put your name next to your business. But if you go to KeshEvents, you'd see my name spelled out for you.
I again, I'm just want to make sure because I'm super bad about spelling and typing. I shouldn't be doing anything. People are like, no, you should not do anything. Okay. I spelled your name wrong again. Hold on. I
But
N.
I could just go to my profile. My name is on there. Oh, you
Okay.
want to it?
There we go. Is that right?
I can't see any conversations. I don't know what. I feel like I have a thing. I make things not work. So like anything technical just freezes. Like I see nothing but me and you. That's it. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yes, so you can go on Clubhouse and follow us tomorrow. I spelled it right. Yeah. Um, I'm horrible. Seriously. I'm like, why are phones so small? My fingers are too big for this. I just need like a large, I'm literally the older I get, and this is like a joke between my son. He's like, you basically need like a large screen TV for your phone.
Big. Just you need a stick like with big.
So bad.
But put it in your stories. We'll find
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna put it back. So this will be posted. So it'll be in there in the comments. You can or in the caption. You can see where it is. You can join us tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. We're gonna keep talking about this. Always so much fun.
Thank you.
Uh, yes, absolutely. I seriously, and like I said, every time I talk to Akeshi, there's something new that like new information, and I love it because I love to learn, and I think it's one of those things that to be good, you really do like you have to be able and willing to learn and to be able to deliver that consistently and not be afraid to like keep being a student. Like you have to keep doing that instead of being like, no, I got this is it. Because
The moment you stop learning is when you stop growing. So, should be a forever student. Because the world anyway, everything is changing, so we got to keep up.
that's right. That's right. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, have a great night. Thanks so much for joining.
Clubhouse.
Thanks for joining. Like I said in the caption, we are going to have I'm going to put the Clubhouse usernames, so there'll be that for tomorrow. And I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, bye.
Yay! Have a great night, everyone. Thanks.